Well, welcome to the combined live stream for the GovHack 2022 Central Australian Opening Ceremony. We'll be looking at the Northern Territory and South Australia as they are fast approaching the launch of the competition at 7 pm. Before we get there, a few things to cover first. Thank you for joining us as a digital participant this evening, whether you're connecting digitally just this evening or heading to a venue on the weekend, or planning to participate digitally all weekend. There'll be some valuable information here this evening for you to take in. I am Jason Weigel. I am the International Operations Lead for GovHack this year, and I'm trying to make sure everything runs smoothly for both volunteers and participants. Um, Before we get started any further, I, however, would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we find ourselves on here today. Today, I am recording and streaming this from the lands of the Yagara and Turrbal people. I and GovHack Australia pay our respects to elders past and present and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their ongoing culture and connections to the lands and waters of Australia. I and GovHack Australia acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. We couldn't do this event without the support from government agencies at all levels, um, local universities, local business, community organisations, and our many volunteers. A big thank you to this year's sponsors who allow us to keep this event free and open to all ages and all backgrounds. First, we have Infosys, our lead international sponsor, returning for their fifth year in this position. Thank you very much, Infosys. We have Torrens University Australia as our international event partner, providing multiple different venues around Australia for participants to join us in. Our Australian national sponsors are the Australian Taxation Office, the Clean Energy Regulator, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and the National Freight Data Hub. We have a number of Australian community partners, including Hackathons International, Founders Institute, Luma Institute, Mural, Credly, and Performance Education. In South Australia, we have our sponsors of Regional Development Australia, Barossa, Obralla, Light, and Adelaide Plains, the City of Adelaide, the Department of Primary Industries and Regions, Inspiring South Australia, and RAA. These are all silver sponsors within South Australia. Our community partners in South Australia include South Australian Leaders, Possible Consulting, Moonshots, Jobs Cafe, Performance Education, RZ Delicious, and the ACS. In the Northern Territories, the Northern Territories government is a platinum sponsor, and we have silver sponsors of Inspired NT, Charles Darwin University, and New Futures IT. They also have community partners with the CDU, IT Student Association, Navitas, and the ACS. So, let's have a look at the weekend ahead for those that are returning and those newbies. Over the next 46 hours, teams will compete in cities all around Australia and New Zealand to hack open data in new and engaging ways. It is a festival of ideas in response to challenges proposed by our sponsors. We're not hacking the government, we're after a quick or inelegant solution to a particular problem. We're looking at ways to use this open government data to make our communities better places. Our events are free, and we want to focus on our hackers. So we want to allow as many people to come and join this as possible. GovHack is a volunteer-driven organisation that wants to promote open government data to improve our skills in ways that will build better communities from the ideas that come out of this. We believe in open access. The data and the outcomes of this weekend will be released under an open source license with you retaining the intellectual property. This will allow other people to take your ideas further or yourself to take them further as well, to maybe even make them solutions. The 46 hours isn't enough time to make a solution, but it's a good enough time to come up with a interesting idea that could maybe in the future become a solution. Going into some of the formalities that need to be covered, GovHack has a code of conduct. Essentially, we want everyone to have a great time participating in GovHack. There shouldn't be anything going bad. People shouldn't have a bad experience. So, we come with the mentality of be nice, play fair, or go home. Our number one priority during GovHack is in ensuring a safe and hassle-free environment. We abide by this methodology from our participants, our volunteers, our sponsors, and mentors. Everyone participating in GovHack in any capacity needs to agree and abide by the code of conduct. To read more about it, head to govhack.org/code-of-conduct to read all the details of this. If you're at one of our physical events, there'll be information on the back of your lanyard for this as well. If you feel uncomfortable or believe inappropriate conduct has occurred, then please let any GovHack crew know immediately and send an email to contact@govhack.org. On Slack, you can use the /report command to reach out to one of us as well. On a brighter note, we want people to take photos, but be mindful that some people don't like having photos taken of them. Give them the chance to opt out. If they opt out, don't take a photo of them, and if you do have other photos that you may have taken them, please delete them from it. At our physical events, our badges have this crossed out camera mark on them if people have indicated that they don't want to have photos taken of them. So please be mindful of this. If you do end up taking photos, we would love for you to share your photos. You can tag your photos on social media with the hashtag GovHack so that we can go out and find them and see what everyone's doing over the weekend. We also have a Google Drive for photos where if you want to be the face of GovHack 2022 or you want to showcase some of your work, we would ask that you upload the photos to govhack.org/photos-2022. If you upload your photos to this share, we are considering that it has been shared under a CC by 4.0 license. So what this essentially means is you give us permission to use it, but we must give you credit for any places where we show it. So if you're happy for us to showcase your work while giving you credit for it, please share your photos to this. Over the weekend, we will be using Slack. This is a text-based platform where you're able to connect with people both in your local locations and your remote locations. This is where we'll have mentors, participants, volunteers from all around Australia and New Zealand. So we strongly recommend that you join here because this is where we'll also send announcements out. So if you're not on here, you may miss some announcements if you don't hear them directly from the people at a venue. So if you're not at a venue, join Slack. If you are at a venue, still recommend joining Slack. There's mentors that aren't at your location that may be able to help you as well. So join Slack. Returning folks, you can log into Slack by heading to govhackhq.slack.com and using your login credentials that you've used in previous years. New people joining us, you can register by heading to govhack.org/Slack. On Slack, we have a number of different channels that may be of interest to you. We have the Help Mentors channel, where you can find any mentor that is around this year to work out how can I do this, talk about data, talk about the challenges. They're there to help you. We have the Find Team channel, where if you're looking to join a team, this is the place to go. Or if you have a space in your team and you're looking for someone with a certain set of skills, go here and have a look. Put a shout out. You might find some people that are interested in joining your team. We also then have the Talk organizations channel, such as Talk Infosys and Talk ATO. This is where we have mentors from specific organizations hanging out. So if you want to reach out to these, this is a place to go to get specific help from specific organizations and mentors. We then have the Hack region channels, such as Hack Queensland and Hack New South Wales. These are where you can go to talk to participants from the same region as you, or if you want to potentially join one of those teams, go and reach out in these channels. So, what is happening on the weekend? We'll go through this in a little bit of detail so that you know what's going to happen. Shortly at 7 p.m. Tonight, the challenges will be announced. We strongly recommend that you go through and explore them, chat with the mentors. They're there to assist you with this. We're also there for helping you, from a volunteer point of view, helping you get into teams. Teams can consist of between 1 and 10 people. Generally, it's about 4 people is a good spot for how many people should be in a team. We recommend that you look for diversity, someone that is good at a technology background, someone that is good at data analysis, someone that is a creative, so they're either good at visual design or potentially user experience and user interfaces. We recommend having facilitators, someone that knows about the background of the problem space you're wanting to do. We also then recommend having someone that may be good at looking at creating videos and editing them. These roles, there are roles on your badges. We'll go through some of these roles after so you can see what they look like. We recommend that you spend the rest of the Friday night brainstorming ideas, have a look at these challenges, seeing where they overlap, so that you can respond to multiple challenges with one idea. You can enter up to 5 challenges to work on with one project entry. But for this, the challenges should be aligned, so you're not trying to cram 2 completely different dispersed ideas in. Be mindful of this. If the judges don't see an alignment in your project with the challenge, they'll just disregard it. Before you head out on the Friday night, we recommend you start a project page. So create a team, invite other people using their email address. So you have a chat to them, get the email address, and then you can search for them using that. You can then go, the people that receive the invite can go to their managed accounts and accept them on as being a team member of the group. Reach out to any of your local venue hosts or us on Slack if you need any assistance with this. On the Saturday, we then have some more working on your projects. So by midday, we recommend that you have selected the challenges that you want to work on so that you aren't leaving this to the last minute on Sunday. Leaving it to the last minute is not a good idea because you'll be rushed or potentially rushed. You don't want the last thing of it hits 5:01 and you didn't enter a challenge and you've done this great project. So make sure you get them in early. It also allows us time to come around and go, hey, have you considered this challenge if we know what sort of challenges you're working on as well. We have a live stream trivia event that will occur at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So this is going across all of Australia and New Zealand, so that you can come have a little bit of a break and have some fun for about an hour. So spend the rest of Saturday brainstorming, locking in your challenges. We also recommend taking photos and evidence of your work. Judges like to see how your ideas have progressed over the time, and I like to see it as well. It's a great resource for describing your project when it comes to Sunday when you're writing up what's happened. Mock up your prototype and start actually working on your prototype and developing it. You need to cite your data sets as well. So any data sets that you use, make sure that you put the record of that into your Hackerspace project page. This could be the data sets that come from the challenges or any other ones that you find. Make sure that you reference it on your project page and describe how you used it. It is important that you do this, otherwise you may miss eligibility for challenges if you don't cite your data sets. We recommend that you also take time to start storyboarding your concept video. So what do you want to show? What are you going to do in this? Um, what is the story that you want to tell? Define the problem, discuss the approach, and the idea that you came up with this so that you can showcase it to everyone. If you'd like, you can showcase this to your mentors as well as volunteers, and we can give you feedback on this before you start actually filming it. You should choose a team name and a project name. The default is project and a number. We're up to in about the thousands now. We strongly recommend that you change this so that you have an identifiable name. Calling out, hey, Project 1002 wanted prize. It's kind of hard to go. It's a lot easier to keep track of it if we have a meaningful team name and a meaningful project name. You should also spend part of the Saturday choosing what sort of open source license you want to release this project under. So you need to pick one as a requirement for this. So if it is a design style project, if you're just doing more visuals and an idea, releasing stuff under a Creative Commons license works. If you're doing more of a text thing, then a code license like a GNU is generally appropriate. But it must be an open source license. For more information, have a look at choosealicense.com for some suggestions. Moving into the Sunday, you're on the final day and things are going to be wrapping up. We recommend by midday that this is the latest that you take to start filming your video. You want to make sure that you spend enough time on doing this. It takes longer than 3 minutes to film a 3-minute video because there'll be multiple cuts, you'll want to try things different ways, and then you'll need to edit it together. So make sure you allow enough time for this. The competitor handbook is your a handy resource for this. It goes through some helpful information for this. By 4 p.m, we recommend this is when you start uploading your video. The internet will get clogged down at points if everyone's trying to use the Wi-Fi all at the same time. So make sure you allow enough time to upload your video. By 4 p.m, we recommend your video is in the process of being uploaded and you're making the final touches to your project page. All your evidence of work should be posted and linked into your project page by this point. By 5 p.m, this is when the submission deadline happens. If you are experiencing issues prior to 5 p.m. that may result in you being late, let us know before it happens. If you let us know after the fact, there's not much we can help you with. The system locks down at 5 p.m. local time. So talk to us before the issues occur. Before the deadline, so that we're aware of any issues, so that we're mindful of this, and you can potentially apply for special consideration. No special considerations will be considered if you don't talk to us first. So the things you need to make sure that you've done by 5 p.m. You've completed your data story, you've completed your data citations, you've linked in your video, and the video needs to be, along with the evidence of work, needs to be accessible to the judges. So make sure that you have put it under a way that we can access it. If we need to request access via providing an email address or an account on Dropbox or Google Drive, the judges aren't going to do that. So make sure it's publicly accessible. Make sure you have your latest version of the prototype. If you want to make further work on it after the competition, make a branch, deviate from it, but the part that you worked on needs to remain the same. Where you can upload your video, YouTube, Vimeo, places like this. YouTube will give you a URL as you're starting to upload the video. You can place this straight into the hackerspace when you get that URL. If you're building something that's a physical in nature, you may want to do another 30-second video of going around that. You can do this as a demo. If you're doing things like a web-based project, this can be an interactive demo that you link in. So make sure that you complete your project page by 5 p.m. There must be a license file in your project prototype repository. So we're almost getting close to the competition time. So one of the things that I just want to touch on first is around that team formation. So these were the symbols that are on your cards for your lanyards. The top one is meaning you're good at data. The right one, you're more of a coder person. The one on the left, you're more of a facilitator. The one down the bottom, you're more of a designer. People can be multiple of these, so check their badges when you're forming teams. We recommend that you have a multidisciplinary group of people for this, so spread out the different skills for this. So, almost done. We've got one talk to go, and then we have the launch video. So, we have Andrew Groff from Infosys, who is the Senior Vice President and Regional Head, Australia and New Zealand, who will be talking about and celebrating the 5 years of GovHack and Infosys partnership, and talking about some of the things you might want to think about over the competition weekend in relation to the Infosys challenges. So, over to you, Andrew.
Greetings all. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians where I'm coming in from today, the Ngunnawal people. And I'd like to thank their elders past and present for looking after these lands and these waterways for many, many generations. And to all Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders right across Australia, my respects. And kia ora to all of those joining us from New Zealand. My name is Andrew Groff. I lead the Infosys business across Australia and New Zealand, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you all to GovHack 2022. This is the 5th year of GovHack and Infosys partnering, and I'm really delighted that you're all able to join us, participating from right across these two great nations. It's a really exciting time of year for us here at Infosys, because GovHack brings together people from right across our communities to build new ideas. And this year is particularly special. At last, we have the opportunity to gather in person after 2 years of primarily virtual engagements. And the theme for GovHack this year, it's something that's really close to our heart at Infosys. It's focused on environment, social and governance, ESG. It's a really important time for us to prioritise ideas in ESG, including climate change, skills development, inclusion and diversity, health, well-being, data governance. ESG is really core to our purpose at Infosys, our purpose of amplifying human potential. And this collaboration with GovHack enables us to help support all of you in the creation of sustainable and equitable ideas that will help us all make our communities better. At Infosys, we've made some significant strides in the ESG space. We're really proud we've been carbon neutral since 2020, 30 years ahead of the Paris Accord. And we're committed to building digital skills across the globe, over 10 million people globally by 2025. And we continue to build, scale, and encourage our ecosystem, our partners to invest in ESG-focused programs. We've all seen significant acceleration in technology investments over the last few years. Organisations have had to change rapidly and build at scale digital services that have helped improve customer experience and maintain businesses in a very challenging environment. However, it's also important that these programs are sustainable. They have to be inclusive and they have to have robust governance. And GovHack gives us that license, that opportunity to take a step back and make sure we're building digital services that are sustainable and that truly have value for all, that are equitably distributed. One suggestion I have for you this year, as you think about the GovHack theme, is to ensure that you consider the whole ESG spectrum. Think about this when you're thinking about your ideas. All right across the board, environment, social and governance are important. They're all critical to be an equitable and sustainable community. Sometimes the S and the G, they receive a little bit less attention. So think about this right across the board. And I'd love to make a big shout out to all the GovHack team, all the partners and sponsors for, again, year after year, creating such an amazing environment, such an amazing hybrid festival of ideas. So this year we have 3 challenges for you across this ESG spectrum. And I really encourage you to look at each one of them. Please have a look at our International Challenge, our Australia Challenge, and our New Zealand Challenge. And on that note, I'd like to conclude by wishing each and every one of you the very best of wishes for GovHack. I look forward to seeing the amazing ideas that I know are going to come out of this, and I look forward to celebrating those ideas at the GovHack Red Carpet Awards. Happy hacking and welcome all to GovHack 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Now I'm going to do the kind of weird thing and hand over to myself. So, in all our physical locations, I can't be there at all of them. So, we have a video that have been prepared to go out to all of these. So, let's say hello to me of the past. Welcome to GovHack 2022. Since its first year as a small data mashup event in 2009, GovHack has grown to an international competition that brings thousands of people together across Australia and New Zealand to come up with creative and innovative ideas by combining the skills and knowledge of talented changemakers with the power of open government data. We welcome back many familiar faces as well as many new GovHackers to experience this special environment that happens when people get together to bounce ideas and create clever new things to make a better world. You're part of the largest open data hackathon in the Southern Hemisphere. You have everything that you need to compete in the GovHack handbook along with the hackerspace. The handbook is a great resource for outlining what you need to know, what you need to do, and what you need to do it by and when. The hackerspace is where all the magic happens. The challenges, the ideas, and the teams all happen on the hackerspace. We even have many years that you can look back on and see what people before you have come and gone. We've had websites, mobile apps, board games, 3D models, laser cuttings, and even a song or two. GovHack is about ideas, the great ideas that make the use of open data and how you can use this to respond to challenges. After you finish watching this video, the next thing that you want to do is form a team. The local hosts or our online volunteers can help with this. Then head over to the hackerspace to create your team project page and get access to the information about the challenges that you'll be able to participate in. Make sure to check out the challenges that you want to be involved in and what's actually involved in each of these. Once you've selected the ones you want to work on, it's time to enter that challenge. You can enter up to 5 challenges with a single project if the challenge themes overlap. Don't try and pack everything into a project, but where it makes sense, add those challenges to your project. This year we'll be using Slack to form teams, communicate with mentors and coaches, and communicate competition details, and especially supporting our remote competitors. To join Slack, go to govhack.org/Slack. If you have joined Slack previously when participating in GovHack, you can find it again by going to govhackhq.slack.com. We have some great challenges that you can enter this year. Make sure that you have a read about what makes each challenge different and what data sets are needed to be used in the challenges. Not all challenges are created equal, so make sure that you take the time to have a read of all of them. You never know what great insight that you can bring to the challenges with just a weekend. We have some great sponsors that make it possible to have all of these events each year across Australia and New Zealand. They ensure that every event is free to attend, anyone with a desire to attend. Please make sure to give a big thank you to all of our sponsors and partners. Without you, GovHack wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much. This competition has now commenced. You have until Sunday 5 p.m. to submit your entries. Good luck, have fun, and play fair. Thank you, past me. So that was the competition is now a go. So I'm going to go over some of these challenges in a little bit more detail, but make sure to go and have a read of them on the Hackerspace. There will be more info provided for each of these, and there may be some more ones that will be added that I don't cover this evening. So, um, the challenges that you enter, you can go into the chance to win some of these actual real medallions that we get made every year. So we have our international challenges that we'll start with. So for this, we have um, uh, managing or repurposing the COVID-19 equipment waste from Infosys. They ask how might we help or rethink, repurpose, or manage the present and future COVID-19 equipment waste. Within Australia, we then have emissions and the dark side of buildings, um, where emphasis is looking at how might we address the built environment, which accounts for 40% of the world's GHG emissions through datasets and smart technologies. How will the phenomenon of a hybrid return to work impact how we use existing spaces and plans for developing new spaces? How do we create the right mix of brownfields and greenfield projects to optimize the results and efforts? Going into our national challenges now, we have the Australian Bureau of Statistics presenting the 2021 Australian Census as a challenge, where they ask how might we link the 2021 census data with open data to highlight and solve a challenge Australians are facing. Noting for this, we aren't looking for solutions but ideas. Um, from the Australian Taxation Office, they have a challenge of small business performance indicators, where they ask how can we help small business owners to easily compare how their business is tracking across a range of performance indicators compared to other similar businesses. The Clean Energy Regulator has helping Australia reach net zero emissions by 2050. Australia has a goal to reach net zero emissions by 2050. How can Australians use public spaces, including city landscapes, to achieve these goals? The National Freight Data Hub asks what's going where you can help transport planners find the detailed locations with different types of freight coming from and going to. They also have a second one around fire, flood, and future, the road to resilience, where you can help transport planners find and predict which roads will be blocked or damaged in the next flood or bushfire. We then have our region-based challenges. Our challenges in South Australia start with the Department of Primary Industries and Regions with the challenge protecting South Australian growers from fruit fly, where they ask how might we use data to communicate where fruit flies are being detected so that we can notify the right growers as quickly and accurately as possible. The RAA has a challenge reducing climate impact through sustainable energy behaviors, where they ask how might we reduce climate impacts through changes in energy sources, production, distribution, and consumption. The City of Adelaide has reimagining recycling for businesses in the City of Adelaide. They ask how do we identify the best locations to implement a zero avoidable waste approach for businesses? How do we maximize the use of these locations so businesses feel empowered to waste less and recycle more? Moving into the Northern Territory, the Northern Territory government has meeting short-term hospital needs outside of a hospital. They ask, how can we use available technologies to support people's health needs and stay out of hospital? How can we beat gamba grass? How do we reduce the risk of fire and damage caused by gamba grass to the natural environment, life, property, and infrastructure? The NTG's last challenge is displacing diesel. How might we use data and technology to displace all diesel in the territory? Charles Darwin University has the challenge ensuring the safety of our staff, where they ask how might we use data to support the health and safety of staff who are required to operate vehicles, machineries, and other equipment at work. Their second challenge is Jobs of the Future NT, where they ask how might we identify future jobs and skill shortages in the Northern Territory based on the NT economic plan and upcoming projects and investments. How might we identify employability skills needed to develop students to meet the future needs of the NT? Inspired NT has youth participation in STEM activities in the Northern Territory, where they ask how can we use open data to engage youth in schools or at a community level to increase the level of interest in STEM careers. Now, at this time, all the challenges have gone through. It's your time to go and have a look at some of these challenges yourself. Start forming teams. Good luck. Have fun. Play safe. And I look forward to the outcomes on Sunday evening, where I go and watch a whole lot of videos. Good luck.